Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.
Hello and thanks for joining us on the news update. I am Petrina Ezeji. We begin in Abuja, where the Supreme Court has affirmed the election of Peter Mbah as governor of Enugu State. Apex Court's 5-member panel unanimously dismissed the appeal filed by the Labour Party and its candidate, Chijioke Edeoka, challenging the outcome of the March 18, 2023 election. Both the Election Petitions Tribunal and the Appeal Court had upheld the declaration of Mbah as winner of the election conducted by INEC. Scores of protesters marched to the Rivers State Government House in Port Harcourt on Friday to protest against the peace deal brokered by President Tinubu between Governor Sim Fubara and FCT Minister Nyesom Wike. The protest was also in solidarity with Governor Sim Fubara. The protesters included students, youths, civil society organizations, labor unions, and members of the Hausa community in the state. They occupied the Government House along Azikwe Road, Port Harcourt, as early as 7 a.m. The Senate has confirmed 11 justices of the Court of Appeal as justices of the Supreme Court. The upper legislative chamber confirmed the nominees on Thursday after Mohammed Monguno, chairman of the Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters, presented a report for consideration by his colleagues. The senator said the nominees were fit to be elevated to the Apex Court. The Judiciary Committee of the Senate screened the nominees on Wednesday after President Bola Tinubu asked the Red Chamber to confirm them. The president's request came after the National Judicial Council, NJC, recommended the justices for elevation to the Supreme Court. The Apex Court had only 10 justices after the death of Sentos Wenzi and the retirement of Amina Ogi and Datijo Muhammad. The Constitution allows the Supreme Court to have a maximum of 21 justices. The Nigerian Army Council has promoted a total of 47 brigadier generals to major generals. Also, 75 colonels were elevated to the rank of brigadier general. The promotion is coming after the retirement of 113 generals on Wednesday. A statement on Friday by the Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Onyema Wachuku, said the Council approved the promotions of the senior officers on Thursday. He noted that the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, urged them to redouble their efforts to justify their elevation and the confidence reposed in them. The federal government on Thursday announced the mechanical completion of rehabilitation work on Area 5 plant of the Port Harcourt Refining Company in Rivers State. It said the first phase of the plant had been completed as the facility would start refining 60,000 barrels of crude oil after the Christmas break. About 170 liters of refined petroleum products can be obtained from a barrel of crude oil. This implied that the 60,000 barrels per day production from the Port Harcourt refinery can provide an estimated 10.2 million liters of premium motor spirits, popularly called petrol, and other refined products. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, which is the manager of the refinery, revealed that the second phase of the facility would be completed in the fourth quarter of 2024 and would lead to the refining of 150,000 barrels per day crude by the facility. This came as the government also stated that the importation of liquefied petroleum gas, popularly called cooking gas, would reduce after the Christmas break, as the refinery starts pumping out refined products. The rehabilitation work at the Port Harcourt refinery has been ongoing for over 2 years, and the NNPCL had pledged to complete Phase 1 of the project, mechanical completion and flare startup of Old Port Harcourt Refinery, Area 5 by December 31, 2023. A London court has refused to grant an application by Process and Industrial Development seeking to appeal the judgment halting the enforcement of its $11 billion award against Nigeria. In a judgment on Thursday, Robin Knowles, the presiding judge, ruled that the award against Nigeria should be thrown out immediately. On October 23, Knowles halted the enforcement of the award by upholding Nigeria's prayer that it was obtained by fraud and in violation of Section 68 of the English Arbitration Act 1996. The judge found that the P&ID had paid bribes to Nigerian officials involved in the drafting of Gas Supply and Processing Agreement (GSPA) in 2010. Nigeria's battle to beat malaria has got a new boost as the World Health Organization (WHO) has added the R21 Matrix M malaria vaccine to its list of pre-qualified. In October, the global health body recommended the use of the vaccine for the prevention of malaria in children following the advice of its Strategic Advisory Group of Experts on Immunization and the Malaria Policy Advisory Group. The pre-qualification means larger access to vaccines as a key tool to preventing malaria in children. The pre-qualification is a prerequisite for vaccine procurement by UNICEF and funding support for deployment by Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance. In foreign news, Angola has announced its exit from the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, amid quota disputes. The nation's Minister of Oil announced that the decision was made during a Council of Ministers session. The Council of Ministers meeting was chaired by Angolan President João Lourenço. Following the development, Brent crude dropped by 1.49% to $78.49 a barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate declined by 1.44% to $73.15 a barrel. Last month, OPEC and its allies, known as OPEC+, lowered Angola's oil production target for 2024 to 1.11 million barrels per day. Prior to the reduction, there was an agreement in June that Angola could produce 1.28 million barrels per day, pending assessments by consultancies. Angola sent a note of protest to OPEC over the decision earlier this month. Still in foreign news, the Israeli Army radio on Friday reported that it had detected 24 missiles launched from Lebanon towards its northern territory. The missile launch coincided with the sounding of sirens in several settlements near the Lebanese border, although no casualties were reported. Tensions have fled along the Lebanese-Israeli border amid intermittent exchanges of fire between the Lebanese Hezbollah group and Israeli forces in the deadliest clashes since the two sides fought a full-scale war in 2006. The border tension came amid an Israeli military campaign in the Gaza Strip following a cross-border attack by Hamas on October 7. In sports, a landmark judgment by the European Court of Justice (ECJ) has given impetus to the formation of a European Super League (ESL). Both football governing bodies, FIFA and UEFA, had on April 18, 2021, come hard against the idea of a new football league comprising 12 initial teams. The highest court of the European Union declared that FIFA and UEFA engaged in an abuse of their dominant position by prohibiting clubs from participating in the ESL. But the court did not specifically pass judgment on the approval of the ESL project, leaving its status uncertain. In the ruling, the European Court of Justice (ECJ) stated, quote, "The FIFA and UEFA rules on prior approval of interclub football competitions, such as the Super League, are contrary to EU law. They are contrary to competition law and the freedom to provide services." End quote. That's our news update at this time. Thanks for watching.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.